I hope that you're nicely seated and settled. Keep your hearts and minds open. It may be consuming for you, as it tackles the less attended topic in the communities of administrative workers dealing with providing services to international students and researchers, but hopefully fun, because you will be learning a lot of new interesting stuff. Our objective today is threefold. First, we want to enable you to design a clear vision of data collection processes in your Welcome Center. We can summarize the work in this part on answering two basic questions. What data we need and how to use it. What to do with this data and how to do it. Maybe the most difficult topic is how to design the structure of data we want to collect, but it appears that it's not our job to do. We just need to follow the path set by the context in which we work. For example, if your service center is a member of your Access network, you need to collect specific data on providing services to international researchers, such as category or type of service and time it took to provide it. Your organization's management, your funders, your ministry in charge may have some other requirements. So, in overall, the data structure could be a sum of all specific things requested by all of the stakeholders that set the context of your work. Remember, data is used as evidence of your work, of your impact. The source of data structures could be national strategies, national policies, some national objectives you want to support with a continuous data stream coming also from your organization. Doing so, you are not also getting yourself into a nice place of being compliant with the rules and regulations, but also you can easily become a pioneer in collecting the data that correspond to some policy initiative in making. And that puts you in a very good position towards your funders. As you will later see, European Commission is continuously working in providing the structures of data which are required to support the policies related to research. And we are going to be talking about how they see this process, how they see the data, and what kind of design they are advocating. Second difficult question, as I mentioned earlier, is how. How to collect it and persist it. How to design a process in which this data is collected, maintained and stored. The initial working title of this training was Data Collection Processes. Actually, it's a bit more than that, although the collection is definitely the most difficult process. It is difficult because you have to identify the sources, you have to make sure that they are credible and trustworthy, you make sure that you have continuous and reliable stream of data coming from those sources, and finally, you have to process this incoming stream. This may sound easy, but it can be quite difficult because things never go as you expect. Let me just give you one example. One of the regular continuous tasks in your Access for Service Center is to provide so-called biennial statistics on the services provided in the service centers. Then the European Commission is using this data to support their policies. Even if participation in this process is mandatory, there is only a modest % of service centers who provide data. This is a simple example in which incomplete data collection process puts us into a situation where our analysis may be biased because, for example, data is not coming from geographically balanced sources. It could lack representation of some particular European region, or it could be incomplete in any other way. The second objective, as you can see on the slide, is to achieve the awareness on the directions to follow in digitalizing the operations of the Welcome Center. So we are going now a bit more general. We are now talking about digitalization. Digitalization is a concept which brings a lot of hype today. You probably heard a lot of the fancy words and phrases I'm going to mention, and you will probably hear it even more. Don't get trapped in overexcitement with tech hypes. Digitalization today is the same thing as the digitalization 20 years ago. This is a process that goes on for years already. Now this term receives even more attention than before. It is a hype, and that is absolutely great, because industries are buying it, public organizations are buying it, and basically that's a good thing, because the hype around this process, like it's always the case with technology, will produce some sensible outcomes, some innovations that will be of the greatest benefit. About this objective, Sorry, we cannot train you on how to digitalize your service center operations in an hour or couple of hours or even couple of days. That's simply impossible without more commitment in time and resources. So this is why we set this kind of soft objective. We want to tease you. We want to get you on board. We want to make you the supporters, ambassadors, even evangelists of the idea of digitalizing your welcome center in your organization. Putting this idea into practice could take some time, it could take some effort, it could take a lot of people involved, a lot of resources, it can be quite expensive, but it starts with a spark, and that spark is you. Digitalization of welcome center work is a goal which leads without any doubt to greater efficiency, to greater effectiveness, and most importantly to great quality. And I guess those values are something that you have always been deeply committed to. At first, I'm sure you want to get more by doing less. This is what efficiency means. For sure you want to have the researchers you assist happy because you don't want them to come to your office every day and ask for the same thing. That's quality. And for sure you want to be straight to the point and directly support and help them in the matters that are relevant to them. That's effectiveness. All those values are addressed by the digitalization processes. They're only processes in which you are becoming more aware of the things that you do, more committed, more focused to the work you are doing. So you're still in the center of everything. All those apps, all those online tools, all those methodologies and processes are only facilitators to focus on what you do the best. And finally, the last objective is to motivate you to pursue future learning objectives like mastering different kinds of online tools. We will be showing you some of those tools, and we hope that we are going to again tease you with the prospects of using them also in your offices. Full implementation of those tools for sure will need some learning, and we hope that you will be interested and motivated to continue this process. Of course, we can help you in suggesting or guiding the online courses that can bring you closer to that objective. Also, for sure you have some IT infrastructure in your organization where there are people who are willing to help and who can help you also in this. But in any case, Univalley's project staff remain at your disposal, and please feel free to contact me in person if you want to know more about this topic. Here is a short summary of what we are going to be talking today. We will be starting with what our service center do. This is something that you know better than me. Hopefully it's going to be very close to the actual reality in your work environment. Then we proceed to talking about what makes one service center digital. That is the topic which I will, let's say, be more confident in covering. And then one strategic coverage, actually very important. We will talk about different initiatives of the European Commission for Researchers' data collection. This is the future of data collection about researchers' mobility in Europe. This is why I think it's important. It provides a context which we can maybe, use to recognize something that we already do in our organizations. The context that we can maybe use to make what we are doing specific and align with high-level policy objectives and see how that could be also important for us in organizations we work in, countries in which we were established. Why is the fact that the European Commission develops it important for you? Simply because at one point of time someone from European Commission will be asking your government to provide this data, and at another point of time your government will be asking you to provide this data. This is not a promise, of course, but rather a well-informed guess. Another, even better argument to consider this is that there were lots of consultations behind the process in which those indicators were designed. This is a result of a large and structured effort of very knowledgeable and experienced people. So we can call to at least a good start for thinking about what data makes our working universe sensible. Then there is an example of your Access Service Data application. This is the app which was produced in scope of one of your Access projects. The app is used for collecting data about researchers' mobility services. The app is being used by your Access Service Centers today in parallel or as an alternative to biannual statistics collection tool. If you are not your Access Service Center, you cannot use this application, but you can still review it as a kind of inspiration or a baseline to start with and when thinking about data collection processes in your organization. Again, the data and process prescribed by this app are designed very carefully, and this design has been continuously improved in several years, based on the work of then known Euraccess Network Management Expert Group, and based on the contributions of all Euraccess service centers who are using this tool. So there are lots of people and lots of ideas standing behind this app, as you can perceive it today. Then we will talk about use cases and meta model, some new concepts that are going to be clarified later on.